Yeah, right. We should be live. Live-ish. Haven't checked yet, but we should be live. And yes, it appears we have gone live. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is Evan Freiberger. Got a little bit of a tornado warning over here. The tornado warning so far has been for land spouts. But as you can see, our storm appears to be getting a little bit more, I would say, typically supercellular here. I've been watching the meso analysis all day, and pretty much here is how this storm is going to go. It's either going to become elevated, or it is going to ride, it's going to go a little bit more to the east, run into some better dew points, and then eventually actually try to produce a real tornado. This storm has already produced potentially up to 4 land spouts. Those are typically pretty harmless. Sometimes they can get strong, but the ones that were happening were pretty weak land spouts, and they were in the middle of a field, so we didn't issue a live stream there. But I do believe that this storm, here in a little bit, over here near the North Platte area, is going to have some potential to produce an actual tornado in maybe 20 to 30 minutes. We'll see. That is my current thought process. For now, we'll see what happens with the storm. One thing I do need to fix my radar here. I want to center it a little bit better. There. And then that should be center. Perfect. Okay. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Landspout was long track. You could technically say that, but I think it traveled about 3 miles. So it was on the ground for like 25 minutes, but the storm itself only traveled about 3 miles. It was very stationary, pretty much just directly into the middle of a field. I don't think it really impacted anybody. And if it did, it probably threw around some umbrellas and some lawn furniture like most land spouts do, although some land spouts can get up to even up to EF2 strength. But I was watching it on Storm Media's live stream, and it definitely seemed like one of the weaker varieties. But it was a pretty cool looking land spout, don't get me wrong. But yeah, kind of what's happening with this storm and what's been happening.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
New tornado warning has been issued. Where? What? In North Carolina, we got a new tornado warning over here. A little bit of rotation there. That seems like we got some contamination with this storm, but might be legitimate. If you live over here near a bushy Lake Stake natural area in Peters Creek, you guys need to be in your safe spots there. Definitely not where I was expecting a tornado warning to happen today. So if you live over here, again, this is in North Carolina, south and east of Fayetteville, North Carolina. All right. Yeah, latest scan on this storm. Looks like we still have some broad area of circulation at this moment. But what this storm has been doing, we've had a bunch of storms out over here, in and along this region. Our dew points haven't really been favorable for tornadoes. But let me go and bring up the mesoscale analyses here. Let's go meso. Scale analysis. And I just want to show you guys one little thing here before we go gawk at what's happening on Pagey stream and also PA Storm Tracker stream. But yeah, as you can see, we have a little spot here of around 60-degree dew points around this storm. So those 60-degree dew points are about to slam into this storm, and they probably already are at the moment. You can see right down, not sure if you guys can see that very well. Yeah, right down in here, you see a 61 there and a 60 there in the green. And so these storms should be becoming more surface-based here shortly. And I do think the tornado threat, like an actual tornado threat, is officially about to ramp up. This last storm, or the last little land spouts that we got were kind of initiated by an outflow boundary that was sinking down to the south. And the question is, will that outflow boundary kind of cut off this storm's ability to reach into some of that instability? Or will this storm here within the next couple of minutes become tornadic? So those are the big questions at this moment. Let's come over to here. I do want to make sure that their feeds are live here. There we go. So yeah, you can see Paige Tornado. She's out here in Lincoln County, Nebraska, just to the north of North Platte. And not really looking at much right now, but if we come over to PA Storm Trackers, let me make sure they're on their live stream. They're kind of, they're near Brewster. I'm not sure where Brewster is. Brewster, Nebraska. Let me search that real quick. Brewster, Nebraska. Where is that? Well, that's all the way up here. So they're looking at this storm further to the north. You see, we got an area of supercells here, riding just north of where those 60-degree dew points are. So these storms should mainly be elevated up here. We have just this little pocket that's rising right up into this area, right over Broken Bow of those 60-degree dew points. And that's going to allow these storms to transition out of their elevated state into more of a surface-based state, which means that these are going to have a higher capability if they're not outflow dominant to produce a tornado. So we'll see what happens. Kind of the only storm that I see that's going to have that capability is probably going to be this one over here near North Platte, and maybe like one of these southern ones over here south of Burwell. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, in the short term, if you live north of Hershey's, north of North Platte, over here by 97, need to be in your safe spots. Eventually, the storm is going to try to make a close approach to Stapleton. I think the rest of tonight's storms are going to go north of Omaha. Well, let's go over the latest risk. As you can see, we'll come over here to our categorical for day one. You see that Omaha is technically in a risk, but you're just outside of that tornado risk. So I don't really think tornadoes are going to be very prevalent in the Omaha area, but I wouldn't rule out some damaging winds being possible eventually as this complex of severe weather pushes off to the east, eventually into the Omaha region. But should mainly just be a damaging wind threat. All right. Looks like we just got a new update here in our tornado warning. Looks like we still have $half sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds with this storm. Also, we got a lot of severe weather happening over here near Burwell with some $half sized hail over there with both of those storms. It looks like damaging winds aren't really too much of a threat, but Burwell's about to get hit there in Nebraska with the at $half sized hail. Over there near 183 as well in Nebraska. All the way up here in South Dakota, we've got some thunderstorms heading towards Pierre, Fort Thompson, and Chamberlain. And then back over here, kind of on the Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas border, we have a couple of areas here with some $half sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind warnings moving into Benkelman. Also, Goodland's got some 60-mile-per-hour winds coming over here near Ugalala. Grant and Imperial, Nebraska have another area here with some 70-mile-per-hour winds about to make it into y'all's region there. So just make sure that you are continuing to be indoors and away from windows, especially on this northern portion of this warning. Those 70-mile-per-hour winds are nothing to mess around with. They can definitely cause some power outages. Looks like we're about to get a little bit of a better view on this storm from Paige Tornado. So let's go look at it, see if it's elevated or not. This is how we've got to watch to see if this storm becomes more surface-based. How's everybody doing so far, by the way? We got anybody tuning in from Nebraska? Perchance? I think it's going to be the main area where we're going to have our tornado risk. It's really just going to be this one cell if it ends up actually doing anything. These storms travel into McCook. Where is McCook? Not exactly sure where McCook is. Hold on. Let me come over here. McCook. There it is. You're way down south there. Yeah, eventually you will be getting some storms. Looks like your main threat's going to be from these storms back over here that are posing a threat for 60-mile-per-hour winds being possible for you guys. So I would definitely be keeping an eye on that, making sure that you are indoors and away from windows when those storms actually do end up making it to you. Hey, Catkins, how you doing? Welcome. Lincoln, Nebraska here. Yeah, Lincoln's back over here. Maybe some damaging winds are going to be possible, but your severe weather threat is overall pretty darn low. Yeah, we do have a tornado warning in North Carolina. Let's go check back in with that, see if anything's changed. Yeah, it looks like that rotation has almost fully died off here. I imagine they allow this tornado warning to be expired here shortly. And looks like the only people that need to be in their safe spots here are Peters Creek. Back over here north of North Platte. Let's check back in with this storm. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of looking elevated here on our velocities. It might have gotten undercut by that outflow boundary. Is that it right there? That might be the outflow boundary right there. If that is it, the storm may struggle. We'll see. We'll watch it for a little bit. It is about to go into some better dew points, so we'll see how that impacts the storm. If nothing happens, nothing happens. Do I agree with the 10% hash risk for tornadoes for Thursday? Yeah. I mean, generally, I think it's going to be possible. It's a pretty conditional threat because if the storm's upscale too fast tomorrow, it's probably we're probably not gonna really see much happen. But if we get any semi-discrete or discrete storms, then yeah, definitely going to see that chance for strong tornadoes to verify out here. The kinematics will be there. And that, again, it's going to be for Eau Claire, Rice Lake, Merrill, Wasau, Appleton, West Bend, Milwaukee, over here near Madison. So I do believe that could happen. It just really depends on whether or not, we actually get discrete mode with the storm. Some models are saying that's possible, and some models are just flat out saying it's probably just going to be a line of storms. So it is still kind of a question mark. You don't think it'll live up to the hype? Well, I mean, hopefully there hasn't been too much hype for that storm. But, people will hype anything. So there's probably somebody out there with their friend over here near Halsey hyping up this because there's thunder on it. It happens. It's just it's a fact of life now. There's nothing we can do about it. I've tried my best. It just happens. I have time. You have a question. Do storm reports only become storm reports when they come from a severe storm? On the SBC storm report page, I think that's how it goes. For MPing, I think they have a lot lower of criteria. What's up with eastern North Carolina? Well, we did have a brief area of rotation on this storm, but it has since kind of fizzled. If we kind of go back in our scan, you can see it did try to organize, then kind of fell apart there. So not really seeing much more rotation on that guy. Looks like that little area, maybe a little mesocyclone was on that storm, has since kind of occluded into the parent supercell and has become less of a threat. So I do assume that they're going to drop this tornado warning here pretty quickly. That rotation only lasted for about 2 minutes. HRRR says 95 degrees in Illinois. Yeah, we can. I mean, I would really like to go over the latest models with you guys eventually during the stream. That would be, I think, helpful for folks. We'll somewhat get it set up there. All right. Did I see the tornado was on? Well, it was a land spout tornado, but yeah, I saw that. I was watching it on Storm Runner Media's feed. It was a weak little land spout, but it was a beautiful land spout nonetheless. All right, let's come back over here to Pagey tornado. I think they're still trying to get into range of this storm. I'm not exactly sure. And thank you, Pathmedic Jan, for the 2. Thank you so much. Yeah, no problem. Does that Mammatus clouds? I think that's some Mammatus. Look at that. Got some Omega block shaped clouds up there in the sky right now.
Hit that like button. Subscribe for future streams if you're new here.
Oh wow. I'm glad to see BA Storm Tracker back out in the field This is it's not the storm of the evening, but it is still a nice view of a storm. And thank you, Bucky, for the 2. Thank you so much. Thank you. Watching from South Dakota, clouds look wild. Yeah, South Dakota does have some storms out there. Unfortunately, these guys are in kind of a radar hole. From the best I can tell, looks like next in line is going to be Chamberlain, Fort Thompson, Pierre. That's mainly going to be for thunderstorms, though. We're not really talking about anything like overly dangerous. Any chance I could cover Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday? We already did a forecast on that. You can go back to my channel and watch that. We did a full breakdown. Might do another one tonight. We'll see. We'll see if this expires and this storm becomes elevated and we don't have much to talk about, then we will definitely do a late night update on the storms for sure. But I still want to monitor this storm pretty closely. But it does look like it's becoming elevated. It looks like my theory might have been wrong this time. Might have been wrong. We'll see. It's not looking very tornadic anymore. I was thinking it was like right on the verge. It literally is right on the verge of 61 dew points. This is what we've been waiting for these storms to do pretty much all day. But it seems like something is kind of preventing it from becoming overly tornadic right now, thankfully. Can Friday be more tornadic than Thursday? They're both kind of on the same vein, I think. I think they're both pretty conditional. I mean, we could have some like early morning convection. I think we're mainly going to be talking about like a damaging wind event, which you could get some briefer and weaker tornadoes in there. Strong tornadoes probably going to be less likely. This really depends on how discrete or semi-discrete our storms can kind of stay, because again, there's going to be a lot of forcing overspreading in this area, and we're going to see a lot of storms fire at the same time. In limited kinematics. So it'll probably the atmosphere is definitely favoring more clusters and maybe a couple of MCSs with some damaging wind. I think significant damaging winds is going to be the main problem on Friday. And before they turn into an MCS, significant hail and maybe some tornadoes. I wouldn't rule out a strong one. I mean, technically the sheer environment should be there, but it's going to be on the weaker side of things as far as I remember. Hey, thank you, Zen, or Links, for the $2. Paycheck just hit. Thanks for all you do. Hey, thank you. I guess my paycheck just hit too. I appreciate that, though. Huge shout out to Links. What about Plattsmouth? Plattsmouth? Is it Plattsmouth or Plattsmouth? And if it's Plattsmouth, what the heck is a Platt? And what does its mouth look like? Now, let me see. Plattsmouth in Nebraska. Oh, yeah. You guys are going to be good. I wouldn't rule out some damaging winds, but the severe threat should be pretty much on the lower end there. Folded mouth. Oh, the Platte River. There we go. So it's the mouth of a river. So that's what it looks like. That actually clears things up a lot. Your weather anxiety is over the scale. Why are you anxious, Lisa? You're looking at too many RFS models. Fall Rock, Kentucky, looking good tonight. Yeah, your main threat's going to be on Friday in Kentucky. Would the tornado threat be elevated for us? Yeah. I mean, you're kind of in that zone where you might see, that strong tornado risk hasn't extended down.
A new PDS severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Oh, boy. Looks like we have a PDS severe thunderstorm warning over here with 80-mile-per-hour winds about to move into the Ogallala area and then eventually into North Platte, Nebraska. Again, that's 80-mile-per-hour winds. So if you live in Ogallala, Grant, Madrid, Imperial, Juanita, Hayes Center, Maywood, Wellfleet, and North Platte, you guys all need to be in your safe spots. That is a dangerous storm that can cause significant tree damage, even some house damage, and power outages become pretty darn likely in that kind of storm. So you definitely want to be in your safe spots for that. Flying debris could fly through the window and into the side of your house, causing some pretty decent issues there. We just got an update. Our tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire over there near North Platte. Let's go check back in North Carolina just to make sure that storm isn't trying to randomly reorganize. Yeah, it's not. Okay. They are going to let that expire, and a special weather statement will replace that. Okay. Maybe we have cameras in Nebraska. Maybe. Let me change my title. Actually, I guess we still technically have a tornado warning. Yeah, we'll just change it to North Carolina, I guess. And that will probably expire, and then we'll just change it to the PDS severe thunderstorm warning. You're in Lincoln, Nebraska. Going to get a storm? Probably not. I'm probably going to be pretty weak by the time it gets to you. You guys are in I think a marginal risk for today, not a tornado risk. Yeah, a little bit of a marginal, just on that edge of the marginal risk and the general thunderstorm risk. So expecting not a whole lot for you guys. Maybe some damaging winds might rumble you awake tonight. Some thunder as well. All right, let me see if we have any cams out there that are actually live near the Ugalala area. I know we have cams out there, but I'm not sure if they're picture cams. I think there are some live cams in Nebraska, if I remember correctly. I think most of them are picture cams, but we might get lucky. Don't have any storm chasers out there. Yeah, nothing there. There. And there does not appear to be like any cameras, live cameras, in the path of that PDS severe thunderstorm. Unfortunately, we will not be able to report on that. Nope, no cameras. All right. Yeah, there you go. Tornado warning has officially been allowed to expire there. Let's come back over here to North Carolina. Check back in with this guy. Yeah, still not seeing a whole lot there. And it looks like that rotation is about to head out of the tornado warning. Let me just check to make sure that they haven't allowed this to expire yet, surprisingly. You never find cams. Yeah, unfortunately, Nebraska doesn't really have great cameras. It doesn't really have great cameras. This Texas looking for severe weather threats coming up. Pretty good. I think you guys have a couple marginal risks. I think the main day that you guys need to be worrying about, not even really day 3, but the extended range, like day 5 and maybe day 6 as well for your area. So that'd be like, I think Monday. Is that Sunday and Monday, I think? Yeah, because we get a little break on Saturday, I think. What does the rotation look? Non-existent on all of our storms right now. What? Someone over here near Burwell might be trying to do something. Not sure. It should be elevated, though, so we might be dealing with some side load contamination there. I don't think that is a very legitimate signal. Yeah, those storms over there are north of our most favorable dew points right now. Yeah, if you guys are just now tuning in, the most dangerous storm that we have ongoing right now is this one over here near Ugalala, Grant, Imperial, about to head into North Platte. PDS severe thunderstorm warning here with 80-mile-per-hour winds, destructive winds, heading towards the North Platte area. Wow. Look at that little thing. The heck is that? Why does that look like a NATO? Very low wall cloud, I think, is what that is. You got video of land spout. Nice. Feel free to send that in. We'll show it here live on stream. Yeah, looks like this is that storm that was tornado warned over here north of North Platte. And you can see that it still has potentially a little bit of a ground scraping wall cloud. I don't think that's a NATO. But it is a ground scraping wall cloud, mainly because there's a hill there. So, a little hill of sand. SLC, yeah. Yeah, scary looking cloud. Tried to mimic a wedge. That's probably the scariest looking cloud you can get. One that looks like a wedge. Like there's an upside down tornado on the storm. Look at this. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Oh wait, I don't have my camera thing on. I don't have a pointer. What about this? Yeah, we'll use the YouTube logo. Oh, it went away. Dang it. Oh well, never mind. Never mind, it disappeared. Oh, wow. That was a nice little lightning bolt. A little bit of a zappy. A little bit of that zap attack. And that cloud is not a tornado. I can guarantee you that's a fact.
We're gonna start heading.
Any more Mamudis
for tomorrow, but there's still severe storms. We'll keep streaming for a while.
Oh. Looks like they're driving east. Hopefully they're not staying live for me. Hopefully they don't feel like they gotta do that. Yeah, it's totally fine if they end their stream. Hello from Wisconsin. Will I be live tomorrow? Yes, we are definitely going to be live tomorrow, early, to do the latest forecast and give it an early update and just kind of keep you guys in the know of the latest information. And we might do one tonight as well. We'll see. How's Plainview? I think Plainview's fine, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you guys are fine right now. You're on a severe thunderstorm watch. Eventually, you might get some storms with this little complex. It's going to try to come pretty close to you. There's Plainview over there. As you can see, the storms really aren't moving in your direction at the moment. You might have to wait for this kind of wave of rain back over here to kind of make it over there. These might pass to your north. You might get some thunderstorms to your south. Eventually move up to the north. Always kind of hard to tell what these complexes will do. But as of right now, the storms generally seem to be moving a direction that's not going to be near you. Have I picked out my tornado tattoo yet? No, I have not. I have picked out the people that are going to do it. But they were booked up. So I'm waiting. Yeah, there's a tornado warning over there. They're going to allow it to expire. The rotation is headed outside of the tornado warning polygon. Whatever is left of it. So, not concerned about that. More concerned about these 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts heading into Ugalala and North Platte at the moment. I live in northern Alabama. So Ohio looking nasty for the weather coming up. Kind of, I would guess. It depends on what your threshold for nasty is. I mean, you're in a slight risk. And then if you live over here near Cincinnati, you're an enhanced risk going into, I think it's Friday. So tomorrow, a little bit of a slight risk. And then going into Friday, a little bit of an enhanced risk down there near Cincinnati. Over there near Columbus, looking like a slight risk. Cleveland, a little marginal risk. Just depends on where you live, really. Is Lincoln, Nebraska going to see storms tonight? Yeah, most likely we'll see storms, yeah. I just don't know what caliber. Let's come back over here and check in on our North Carolina warning. It looks like it is still there. It is still there, and they haven't allowed it to expire yet, which is surprising. You'd think they would. Reports of 79-mile-per-hour wind gusts near Imperial. Yeah, that's probably what prompted that warning, I would guess. Wish we could get a view on that, but I don't think we're going to be able to. Your birthday is tomorrow. When will the risk end in Cincinnati? You know what? Let's just go ahead. Oh boy. Okay. It's gonna be kind of a difficult transition here. I've got to fix this. Hold on. I gotta deactivate, activate that. And then that should do that. And then this, and then that. And then Why does my hair look gray almost? Is it that time? No. Surely not. I think it's the lighting. Why is the lighting making my hair look gray? Maybe it's just my screen. Does my hair look gray to you guys? What is up with that? Maybe I'll turn this. That's making me self-conscious. What the heck? I promise my hair is blonde, but it looks gray. Why does it look gray? Shiny brown? Yeah. That's what it is. All right. I'm only 31. All right. I'm not that old. All right. Latest scans out here. This is the HRRR model. The latest run of it, the 18Z, the 0Z is coming in. So we might as well just do this run. Which forecast models have been the best so far in 2025? HRRR is pretty decent. Just depends on the event. Euro model's pretty consistent. But yeah, you can see over here near like Lincoln down there, we've had a lot of questions out of Lincoln and Omaha. You can see that this MCS complex is kind of forecasted to kind of skedaddle off to the north and east, up into the Minnesota area and also into Iowa eventually. And then our low pressure system is back over here, and that's going to eventually spin up some more storms. You can see we got a line of storms firing over here. Now, here's the big question here. Whoa, what the heck? Okay, well, this is the first time the HRRR has actually fired storms this far down into Illinois. What's going on down here? The heck? And not very strong wind shear. Definitely a large hail threat. You see the freezing level is pretty low. Still a little bit of a capping inversion. Very thick profile. SRH is pretty darn low down there. So that there will be a tornado threat with those storms. But that's interesting. That is interesting. You see the lower level shear is pretty weak. Kind of a wonky photograph there. But yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting that it actually fires all the way down into the Illinois area. Let me just do a quick little sounding on here as well. Yeah, kind of the same thing. Maybe a little bit more SRH, a little bit further up to the north. Lapse rates up to 8. Freezing level pretty low, very thick. So yeah, probably giant hail. Like 3-inch hail is going to be possible. Yeah, look at the analogs down here. 5-inch hail analogs, 2-inch hails, baseball. Yeah, so it looks like giant hail is going to be a big issue here, and decent turning with winds at high. I mean, this could support a tornado, maybe even a temporarily strong tornado, and that would be over by you, help. They're not gray. These are not gray hairs. I don't know what's happening with the lighting. I promise. Wait, is it the green screen? Is my hair reflecting the green screen, and therefore it's like, does it change colors? No, it doesn't. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Y'all just stop looking at it. But yeah, so it does seem like these storms will have a little bit of a tornadic environment. This is the first time, like last time we looked at the models, we'll go back to the 06Z. Last time we looked at models, they only convected as far south as like maybe northern Illinois, but those really weren't mature storms. But now that we got storms all the way down there in Illinois, I think that is going to expand our enhanced risk by quite a bit. You can see like it doesn't really fire much until boom, convective initiation all the way down pretty much into central Illinois, where it does seem like significant severe weather will be possible. And eventually, as this goes into northern Indiana and into Michigan, we start to see this thing become more of a damaging wind threat as that pushes off to the east. QLCS tornadoes will certainly be possible still in Michigan and northern Indiana. And it looks like it just kind of skips over Ohio almost altogether. A couple of little storms over there in our Arkansas don't really do much. So yeah, that's interesting. Oops, wrong scene. There we go. Hey, thank you, Name Last, for the $10. Grand Rapids, Michigan for tomorrow. Yeah, we'll go over that. I just let me do this on pivotal weather really quick, and then we'll go look at the HRRR and radar mega. But yeah, I mean HRRR is kind of the NAM kind of shows that same scenario. Take a sounding out of here. See what that looks like. Kind of a similar environment, maybe like a dying cap, very dry levels. Big EML there. Very, very, very low freezing level. My goodness. That hail would basically start turning into hail as soon as it's the water vapor would start turning into hail almost immediately. Low SRH there. That's interesting. That is interesting. The NAM has that further down to the south. The RAP does as well. That's the RFS. So there is some agreement for that. Other models aren't really buying it, but there's a little bit of agreement. GFS not really buying it either. I am kind of curious what the Euro is saying. The cheat code. Is it 3-hour QPF? Just learned that on Convective Chronicles latest. Yeah, the Euro model doesn't really fire much. Still has some storms. It looks like for the Chicago area as far south as maybe just south of South Bend there in Indiana. And maybe a little bit more storms over there in Ohio than some of our models are saying. It's interesting. It's interesting. So I'm not sure if that's going to actually be the scenario or not. But it is kind of something to keep an eye on. And to be honest, I mean, if we do get those storms unzipping, that significant severe weather threat will certainly be a lot further south than we initially thought was possible. So definitely got to watch out on the latest models and kind of in the morning. You know, if that cap starts to erode as we go into about 7 p.m. here, and that's when we see all these storms fire. I mean that's going to be a sign that we might have a little bit more of a tornado threat further down to the south. I still don't think it is really super supportive of strong tornadoes, in my opinion. If we come over here and kind of look at the environment in Wisconsin, you can see we've got a lot of little clustering of supercells. If any of those can take advantage of the environment, they could produce a strong tornado. But I mean, even up here, we're only talking about SRH in the 150s. I don't think that's a really good sounding, though. That's not very representative of the environment. Let me take one down here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, SRH 444 up there. So if we do get a discrete cell up there, I mean, look at that curvature. That turning with height. I mean, super back to the surface. Decent curved hodograph, 400 SRH, 8.2 lapse rates. Cape up to almost 3,000 joules per kilogram. So, I mean, not a terrible environment for tornadoes if we can actually get some, discrete supercells, which it looks like there might be a brief moment before it turns into a line of storms where that will be possible. So, definitely something to keep an eye on. Could see some strong tornadoes up there. I do think that's definitely a possibility. I think further down to the south, not as strong as a tornado environment, but definitely can't rule out tornadoes going into northern Illinois, down into central Illinois, and that's eventually going to turn more into a damaging wind threat as we go into around, after 10 p.m. It'll mainly just be a damaging wind threat. It could even get some severe weather overnight into the early morning hours over here into definitely an interesting trend here on the HRRR initiating those storms further down to the south. So definitely got to keep an eye on that trend. Those are my current thoughts there, and yeah. Let's go. Can we go into Thursday? Let's see what happens when we push this into Thursday. It looks like the HRRR is now in range of Thursday as well. You can see we do get some morning convection over there in Kentucky. A little bit of an MCS. I'm on the wrong scene again. Hold on. A little bit of an MCS over there on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. That would come into like Clarksville. There, just north of Nashville. Might have some damaging winds with that. That's at around 6 a.m. A little clustering, turning into some stronger winds moving off to the east there. Going into around, looks like once we get into around 12 to 1 p.m., we have a couple storms trying to initiate on our boundary back here. And you can see a lot of those right up on the warm front pretty quickly. Turn pretty clustery, pretty messy up there. Maybe a couple of supercells down over here. I want to check the environment out in front of these guys. Yeah, I mean, not super strong wind shear. Really not a lot of turning with height. Yeah, about 181, 245 SRH. Decent amount of instability. Freezing levels pretty low. Large to giant hail will certainly be possible. Really dry air in the mid levels, which means it'll be easier for the winds aloft to kind of come down and cause more damaging winds. So that'll be something we've got to watch out with some of these storms, especially up here further up to the north, and any of these storms that can kind of cluster into an MCS. There's definitely going to be a tornado threat there, but I'm not overly convinced it's going to be a strong tornado threat. They might issue one just to be safe. Pretty dry up there. SRH, yeah, I mean, it definitely can support tornadoes, but, we don't have a whole lot of backing at the surface, and typically that means, storms struggle to produce, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's impossible. It's just not like, it's not a very kinematically favorable environment. Let's check what some of our other models are saying. Yeah, mainly just align a bunch of QLCS storms up here, further up to the north on the MPass, the NAM, kind of has similar thing, the RAP, Rufus. Even the Rufus is showing more of a clustered mode, not really too many discrete cells. Check some soundings. Doesn't have soundings. Doesn't have soundings. Oh, yeah, sorry. We got a little bit carried away. Let me just check on that. Yeah, no more tornado warnings. Let me change my title. Really sure what to do since we're doing for the title. I guess I'll just do tornado threat update as the title for now. But yeah, so large hail to giant hail will be an issue. Hail over that 3-inch mark is certainly going to be possible with some of these storms. So gotta watch out for that. 2 to 3 inch hail will be possible. Very large hail. Damaging winds up there in the northern portion, riding up along that warm front, which will be draped over here. Could have some storms, big tornadic there as well. I could see a couple of tornadoes trying to happen, but I'm not really convinced of a tornado outbreak for Friday at all at this point, to be honest. I think probably our best chance for stronger tornadoes will be if any of these storms can remain discrete over here near Wisconsin, as that is where our best kinematics are at the moment for tornadoes. And eventually, by around 7 p.m. So let's come back over to here. And then bring up Radar Mega. We can answer some questions for some folks. Big tornado tomorrow. Yes, we have a significant tornado risk for tomorrow. And I don't know why you're asking me to show it. If you already know there is one, you already know where it is. So let me take off all this weather data. Man, look at all these wind reports coming out from here. 70, 80 mile per hour winds, 70, 70. Those are about to head into North Platte near McCook. So watch out. Let me just do a little update on our severe weather. A lot of these wind reports are coming out of this storm here. We got some, again, 80 mile per hour winds possible. It's eventually going to try to come into North Platte. So watch out for some strong, destructive, damaging winds. Again, those 80 mile per hour winds are no joke. Definitely want to take them seriously as that storm comes through. All right, let's come back over to Radar Mega. We'll answer some more questions. Go over here and bring out the models. Why am I frozen? Dang it. This is what I was talking about, that weird transition with the webcam. I have like 2 different sources. This gives me an opportunity to... Let me fix it. Hold on. Deactivate, activate. This should work. Okay. I was frozen. The heck was that? All right. Do we have any questions? We got new models. What do we got? And thank you, Mike, for the $10. Super chat, Columbus, Ohio, tomorrow night. Oh, let's see. Yeah, hit or miss. If we do have storms further down to the south, if it continues to be a trend that we have more initiation to the south, then eventually you might get some storms, but it looks like they're going to miss you. I think your biggest chance for storms is going to be on Friday, it seems. Friday, 8 o'clock. True. Wait, is this live? Yes, this is live. Believe it or not. This is live. Does Deep South Michigan look clear? I don't think so. Yeah. Unfortunately, most of southern Michigan will get some strong damaging winds and the potential for some QLCS tornadoes as that comes through. Starting at around 8 p.m. there near Kalamazoo, heading through Jackson in Detroit by around Jackson, Lansing, and Mount Pleasant, 11. Bay City, Saginaw, Flint, and Detroit by 12 a.m. Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids over there at 10 p.m. Muskegon at 9 p.m. Look at SigTor signatures. I don't know where you were. We were just doing a forecast. Steele seems very obsessed with significant tornadoes here. Let's make him happy. Let's make him happy. Here you go. Here is your significant tornado risk. There it is. Show the SigTor risk. Like if you need to ask for it, you already know what's there, right? Nobody that doesn't know of a SigTor risk knows to call it SigTor. I don't know why you're making me do it, but fine, we'll do it. Has it been crazy today? No, not really. It's been a pretty melodramatic day. I would say probably one of our more significant things that have happened here is this wind out over here near the North Platte area. We got a PDS severe thunderstorm warning ongoing out over there. Models of significant tornadoes. Okay. There. All right. There. This is the best way I think I can satiate your need to see model data of significant tornadoes. Are you ready for this? Here's the significant tornado parameter. You can see that we do have some chances for significant tornadoes over there near Madison, north of Madison, near Milwaukee. And then what is going on down here? My goodness gracious. Is there storms down there? Really watch that storm over there near Auburn and Fort Wayne. What are you doing, Chazzy? Yeah, look at that. 7 on the SigTor parameter. 10 up there south of Kalamazoo. I'm not really sure if those storms will really be able to take advantage of that, but around 10 p.m., if we don't have a big surface inversion out here, could certainly see some significant tornadoes. Still into northern Indiana, going into northern Ohio. That is interesting. So there you go. SigTor. That's what I saw. That's why I want you to see. Yeah, I mean, we've already been talking about it. SigTor parameter, though, I wouldn't take it as gospel. All right. Wouldn't take it as gospel. If storms can't take advantage of the environment, if there's a surface inversion, you're probably not going to, or if it's just a big old linear line, you're probably not going to see like wedge tornadoes with this, kind of setup. But, if any of these can be, chance. Oh, you're going to struggle tomorrow if you're already getting antsy. If you're already getting antsy, Chazzy. Yeah, I mean, it seems to mean something. It could mean something, or it might not. But you can see that the thunderstorms are further up to the north. So we'll see what ends up happening. We'll see. Might have a surface inversion. Might not be able to tap fully into that environment. Chaz, bit by scratching so much. Come here. Okay. He's on one. He's got these little scritchers. I think he's been getting up. We've been getting a lot more mosquitoes lately, so he's getting his summer bites in. He'll get used to them eventually. Should you worry about hail or tornado risk in Juliet? I think you're talking about Madison, right? Let me see where Juliet is. Is that right? Juliet, Wisconsin? Illinois? I think I spelled it wrong. I thank you, Sassy, for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Joliet, not Juliet, Joliet. It's still not popping up. I guess I'm spelling it wrong still. Hold on. I'm determined to get this right. What? Now Chaz has transitioned. It says I'm spelling it right. I spell it how you spelled it, and I cannot find it. So maybe because it has Wisconsin near it. It's Illinois. Okay. That was the issue. Wasn't Radar Omega. It was my fault. All right, let's come back over here. Yeah, I mean there is a tornadic environment. And maybe could just be at the criteria to support strong tornadoes. I wouldn't be surprised if they included a strong tornado risk down here. If we continue to see this signal out there for a lot of convection, the Euro model and some of the other models don't buy storms being down this further down to the south, so it's not a guarantee over there south of Chicago to see tornadoes. But if storms do fire, you definitely have to be aware for tornadoes and large to very large hail there near Joliet. Why are you so antsy? You're just freaking out. I got to go live for like 10 hours tomorrow. Be all right, Mr. Mabus. What time is that? 7 p.m. 7 p.m. On the 15th. That's tomorrow. Allentown, Pennsylvania, going to get any severe thunderstorms? It's possible. It's possible. Could get some thunderstorms. 3 a.m., 6 a.m. in central Pennsylvania, and then in eastern Pennsylvania by 8 a.m. What's weather looking like Thursday and Friday near western Pennsylvania? Could have a couple bouts of severe weather. Thursday at around 4 a.m. Or no, Friday at around 4 a.m. and then maybe again on Friday evening around 7 p.m. Why are you so antsy? He's just being a little antsy pants. I don't know what's going on with him. You want some treats? Are you just feeling like extra hungry? Come on, let's get you something. Hold on. Let me get him something. I'll be right back. Jeez Louise. Where can you stock the HRRR for free? I don't think there's anywhere. Actually, there is one place. Comment to page weather models. This is free. Put it in chat for you. Vet Tech in me wants to remind you to give your pup heartworm meds. I already have. Thank you. And mosquitoes, yeah, we're already ahead of it, but thank you for reminding me. I don't think he gets his next little pill until about a week from now. He has the anti-flea and heartworm. All in one pill. Where was the tornado warned in North Carolina earlier? I think it was like back over here. Let me see if I can find the storm again. Yeah, it was over here like north of Elizabethtown, I think. Unless it just like completely disappeared. Yeah, it was this one. North of Elizabethtown, but that one is dissipating. Had a wee bit of rotation. Let's jump back over here where we still have an 80-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning pushing into Sutherland and about to push into North Platte. So please still be in your safe spots there in the North Platte region. Man, what the heck is going on over here north of Burwell? That has got to be elevated contamination there. I don't think they're going to actually... I would be surprised if they warned that, but they might. The 2 points are a little bit too low to support surface-based storms, but that is interesting. Yeah, looks very, very contaminated right now. But MCS is developing up here. Some thunderstorms will definitely be moving off to the east. All right. Any more questions? Folks, we're here for you. Youngstown. Let me see. Youngstown. We're here for you now. We'll not be here for you 20 minutes from now. So take advantage of it while I'm here. Let's see here. Maybe some thunderstorms going into 10 p.m. On the 15th. Like it could just be like scattered rain and wind. And on the 16th, yeah, maybe on the 16th going into late night, you could have some severe weather over there. Let me check your severe weather risk for that day. I think you're probably going to be like in a marginal. Yeah, you're in a marginal risk, so not really expecting anything super dangerous, just some thunderstorms. Northwest Arkansas. Yeah, so Northwest Arkansas, again, the wind shear is not going to be super strong. Storms will be pretty parallel to the boundaries, but we do have some indication for some supercells in Northeast Arkansas, but Northwest Arkansas should stay out of the main area of the risk. But if you live over there in northeastern Arkansas, I would be paying attention to these storms. If we just get a little bit of a look at our atmosphere here, you can see that we do have a little bit of a significant tornado parameter around the storm. Will it actually be able to tap into that environment or not? We'll have to see. Again, the winds are going to be a little bit parallel, so this storm it's not going to be super effective at producing tornadoes, but I wouldn't completely rule it out. And if it does, I wouldn't even rule out the potential for, maybe one or two tornadoes with that storm in particular. I don't know if I'm going to be willing to go as far to say strong tornadoes yet being possible. Thank you, Juxo, for the $5 donation. I do appreciate it. Everyone keep stopping west of Cleveland. I'll be looking for tomorrow. Tomorrow in the Cleveland area, you do have some thunderstorms eventually coming. Not then. Hold on. Going into late night. Yeah, late night. Maybe some thunderstorms will make it to you by around 2 a.m. On the 16th. So that'll be Friday morning. What about Sunday and Monday? Any predictions? Nothing yet. Not really willing to give my opinion on that day, on those days yet. It's too far out. Things can significantly change. I mean, all it's going to take is a big old capping inversion and nothing's going to happen. So.
A new PDS severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
It looks like they just extended this PDS severe thunderstorm warning for 80-mile-per-hour winds still. Pushing into North Platte, Wallfleet, Maywood, Hay Center, Brady, Stockville. You guys need to be indoors and away from windows. That's still very destructive severe thunderstorm. Warned storm here. And as we come back over to Radar Mega, I mean, you can definitely tell we're still getting reports of 70-mile-per-hour winds out over here with this storm. So that's about to move into North Platte. I haven't really gotten an 80-mile-per-hour wind report recently, but 73 miles per hour reported there in Wallace. And it might be a little bit stronger than what some of these METAR data are saying, as they're only measuring one spot. They're pretty isolated. Tomorrow, do I want some shrimp fried rice with some soy sauce? You will DoorDash it to me. It'll be so Sigma to eat it on stream. Okay. Sure. But again, in order for you to DoorDash that to me, I need to give you my address, and that's not happening. So, sorry. What about Oklahoma City for this weekend? Not really to talk about that. Again, it's the Oklahoma City risk is, I mean, we can go over the general synoptics of it, but I'm not going to really give you much information that'll be very helpful because it's just too far. Don't really have any of our cams in place. Still kind of uncertain on what's going to be possible. You see this low pressure system kind of moves off. You have a sinking boundary. After that, cause some severe weather in the southeast. Eventually, as we move into the future, could have some storms develop along the dry line here. And if they do, I mean, there will be a shear environment potentially there. You see, we have quite the dry line, a lot of moisture. If we come over here to our instability, surface base cape, there could be a decent amount out there. I don't really think that's going to be much of an issue. Lower level shear, we're talking about anywhere from 40 to 50 knots. That would technically, if that stays the same all the way up to then, could support a strong tornado risk. But it looks like our initiating our very highest upper level winds, which I can't really get to, but I would imagine they're doing something like this, as far as I can tell. But you can't really look at wind barbs on radar Mega. It seems like the forcing doesn't really arrive until later at night. And so those storms will probably struggle throughout the day. This is around 7 p.m. And then that forcing might get there maybe just a little bit too late. Getting to more of a damaging wind potential further off to the east there. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Capping, though, could be an issue. Let me see if we have surface. Yeah, not on radar Mega. I don't even have everything set up to be able to really do an in-depth breakdown on it, but just generally, synoptically speaking, there is going to be a threat. If we look at the supercell composite, you can see that there's a lot out there, but, our storms firing are really not firing at all. So, I would assume there's going to be a cap in place, and that's why storms struggle and the forcing's not really there in time. But that could change as we go further into the future. I mean, you can see we're going to have a couple of days here where supercells and tornadoes will be possible. But again, we're a little bit too far out to really look at those fine details of where the capping is, how strong it's going to be, will it break or not? A little bit too early to tell for certain on that. All right, everybody. I think that's going to be it for the stream. I guess. Well, we'll stick around for a little bit longer since we got this 80-mile-per-hour wind warning. Show your hail video this morning. Do you really want me to? I will. Tornado Explorer got some microscopic hail this morning. Like Paige ended her stream. Still got GA storm trackers out there. It's not strong. Yeah. I mean, I'm really taking a big look at it, just mainly because it's a little bit far out there. I'd much rather put the main focus on the next couple of days. And once the cams get in range, ooh, nice little lightning bolt. Once the cams get in range, we'll be able to figure out things a little bit better, a little bit more on the microscopic scale of things, the meso scale, the smaller scale, figure out what's really going on there with those days. But it's a little bit too early, in my opinion, to really be looking at it at that much. Saturday is not in the HRRR range yet. It's Friday that's in the just got in the range of the HRRR. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. All right, let me just double check one more time to make sure we don't have any cameras in North Plate. North Plate. I wish we had a lot of people from North Platte. in chat right now so they could get mad at me. But I doubt it. For some reason, we just really struggle to reach people out here in these like really sparsely populated areas. Like, do we have anybody from North Platte, Stapleton, Tyron, Thedford, Mullen, Nebraska in chat right now? Well, it's technically pronounced North Platte. 20 minutes from North Platte. Okay. Better than nothing. Yeah, if you're in the severe thunderstorm warning, I'd be indoors and in your safe spots. What about Green Bay? Let's go back over to the HRRR. Green Bay is over here. Yeah. Yeah, Green Bay is going to have a chance, for some pretty strong storms. They should. It's going to be a close call. You might be pretty darn anxious over there in Green Bay tomorrow. If this scenario actually happens, there could be some semi-discrete storms around you. But those will probably quickly turn into a line of storms before it gets to Green Bay. Still could have a QLCS tornado threat there for the Green Bay area. But, if this happens exactly like this, you'll probably be watching somebody stream and they'll be talking about strong tornadoes on the ground. And then you'll be shaking in your boots. But hopefully, before it gets to Green Bay, it transitions more into a damaging wind threat with a little bit less of that strong tornado threat. Yeah, see you later, Shannon. Thank you for tuning in. Do you trust the HRRR or the NAM 3K? Well, they're kind of saying something similar. It really depends what actually happens. I mean, if these storms actually fire, they could eventually become an issue. The NAM 3K is also saying that's possible. Some of our other shorter range models are saying, storms kind of stay up there in the Wisconsin area. So we got a bunch of cheeseheads in chat, it seems. Bunch of cheeseheads. Is the 80-mile-per-hour storm going to fade before hitting South Dakota? Yeah, it's not even going to go into South Dakota. Mostly for South Dakota, we're just talking about rain and thunderstorms up there. Hey, RG5, how you doing? Yeah, a bunch of cheeseheads in chat. You kidding me? Why don't you guys go eat some cheese? I think Friday could go moderate. Probably not. Not how it looks right now. I mean, maybe for hail. Only can go moderate for tornadoes, but like for damaging winds, maybe I can see damaging winds. It's a decent amount of dry air loft, so those winds will be able to make it down to the surface pretty quickly. So maybe I think if it does go moderate, I don't think it'd be for a tornado risk, at least as the models stand right now. But for damaging winds or like a large hail risk, that might be in the possibilities. Just depends on how big the confidence gets before we get there. If we're getting more wind reports. Also, we just got a wind report up here near Sutherland for 60-mile-per-hour winds, 67 miles per hour winds as of 9:01 p.m. Heading into North Platte. Just had some cheese. Heck yeah, man. Send me some cheese. I love cheese. Northwest Ohio enhanced. I don't think so, no. Yeah, no, I don't think it is. Yeah, I mean, I just don't trust this significant tornado parameter for this yet. If that sticks in tomorrow, maybe. But again, like I said, it kind of seems like these storms are going to be a little bit outflow dominant at this moment. But if this kind of sticks on this model, I just don't know if this is the only model saying that or not. I haven't checked on other models. So I couldn't tell you if they're going to upgrade it. I mean, if it's just the HRRR saying that, they're not going to do that. Yeah, you guys aren't a dust storm warning. Look at that. Dust storm. While the dust was along a line extending 6 miles northeast on Culbertson. So yeah, dust storm warning extends all the way down into Oberlin and Kansas as well. Said a slice of pizza. Nice. Hope all is well. It's doing all right. Doing all right. I thought it was about to get a lot more active, but I was wrong on this tornado threat. I thought it had like a brief window, and that brief window closed almost as soon as I went live. But we're here answering questions. Answering questions. Speaking of cheese, your dog just farted. All right. Thanks for letting us know. Jeez Louise. Someone's having a rough time. She cut the cheese? Yeah. Yeah, Wisconsin's familiar with that. Currently traveling through the severe thunderstorm near Ogallala. It's wild. Yeah. Apparently there's 80-mile-per-hour winds in this thing. I can't really tell where on radar that's located. Doesn't really look like 80-mile-per-hour winds should be possible with that storm, but that's the reports. Our latest reports from the ground, though, our last latest one was of a 60-mile-per-hour wind over here, 67 near Sutherland. Another one over here south of North Platte at 908. So it seems like those winds have already come through the North Platte area, and they're probably over here near 80. So there's not really a whole lot of precipitation, it seems, with those damaging winds. What do I think North Carolina has in store in the next couple of days? No, I think just like thunderstorms, right? Not like much. Yeah, I think you guys are gonna have a couple rounds of thunderstorms in the North Carolina. Yeah, so like going into tonight, thunderstorms over there near Charlotte. Those will eventually move into like Greensboro, north of Fayetteville by around 5 a.m. That should dissipate, and then eventually could get some more thunderstorms over there in northeastern North Carolina, and then maybe some more light rain overnight. And then going into the morning of 16th, looks like you guys are just kind of getting dodged. Maybe some thunderstorms over there near Greenville on 3 p.m. on the 16th, and then maybe another one over there north and west of Greensboro. But again, those are all isolated by themselves, so it's very possible that those don't form at all, or they do form and they form in a different place than what's forecasted. But technically, thunderstorms will be possible all the way through the 16th. Any concerns for central North Dakota tonight? Not really. It seems like the dew points just never made it up there. We were supposed to have a little bit more widespread severe thunderstorm activity, and it never really happened. Maybe like north or like southeastern North Dakota, but even then, I mean, I think you guys will get some pretty strong winds out of this. I'm pretty sure, though. So that I would watch out for. Could maybe even still make the argument for some power outages. As you can see, winds are going to be pretty prevalent. The wind gusts are, at least. We're talking about 30 to 40 mile per hour winds for a decent amount of time. Maybe even getting up into those 60 mile per hour winds over here south of Bismarck. Yeah. And that's not even associated with thunderstorm. That's just the low pressure system that's going to be coming through your area. Some light rain to moderate rain, and also some pretty gusty winds. Look on the screen above on the left. What's happening? What's going on up there? Where are they at? I don't even know where they're at. Or you're normal? Yeah, you'll be fine then. You're used to it.
I don't know. You tell me. I'd love to watch the movie.
Dunning, Nebraska? Where's Dunning? I think that's a little bit further north of where that threat is. those damaging winds. I'm not even sure. I mean, as far as our latest reports go, we had, we even had an 86 mile per hour wind report over here near McCook. Wow. Surprised that doesn't have an 80 mile per hour wind warning on it. That's just south and west of McCook, heading towards Oberlin, Kansas. Jeez. That's pretty intense. So strong winds also are existing with this storm. It's warned for 70 mile per hour winds, but there could be some isolated areas of 80, almost 90 mile per hour winds with this storm. All right, everybody. We're going to raid Pennsylvania storm trackers here. It's getting late. I want to get good sleep before tomorrow. Out over here, still probably a small tornado threat. I think the main threat is going to be with this area of rainless wind. It's going to be pushing, or not rainless, but light rain is going to be associated with these storms and a lot of wind. So if you live in like Lexington, Holdridge, Kearney, Hastings, Grand Island, Norton, Phillipsburg, be watching out here for the short term of some pretty strong winds of up to 80 miles per hour, maybe even higher. Is going to be possible. It could be very possible as well that these winds die off almost immediately and you guys just kind of get some bird fart rain and lightning, and that's about it. Yeah, I mean, they still got that 80 mile per hour wind warning. They're keeping it on there as that moves off to the east. So watch out. It's coming. We'll probably extend that here in a short term, but I want to get some good sleep tonight. So that's kind of the plan. Yeah, we'll be up tomorrow to cover the storms tomorrow. We'll give you guys a new update on what's changed early in the morning, live, so you guys can ask questions. Not early in the morning, but whenever we decide to go live. It'll either be in the morning. It'll probably be like around like 10 or 11 a.m., something like that. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for your kind donations tonight, and thank you for liking the stream. And also, to anybody that's subscribed, thank you for subscribing, and welcome to the Fry family. Peace out, everyone.